You weren't born average, so stop acting like it. Some of y'all in this room right now have forgotten who you really are. You've been walking around with your head down, letting life punch you in the face, and now you're convinced that you're just supposed to take it. You're convinced that this is who you are, but let me remind you, you were not made to be average. You weren't made to wake up, hit the snooze button 6 times, go through the motions, come home, binge Netflix, and repeat that cycle until your potential dies quietly in your chest. That's not why you're here. You were created with something in you that this world needs, and the sad thing is, some of you have buried it. You've buried it beneath fear, beneath doubt, beneath comfort. You've convinced yourself that what's in you doesn't matter anymore. But I came to tell you it still matters, you still matter, that greatness is still in there. You just stopped listening to it. See, when you were a kid, nobody had to tell you that you could be something. You believed you could fly. You believed you could change the world. You dreamed bold. You spoke with confidence. You didn't care what people thought. You just did it. Somewhere along the way, life started hitting you, people started doubting you, and slowly you started agreeing with them. You started dimming your light just to fit in with people who were never meant to walk with you in the first place. You've forgotten your power, and the problem isn't that you don't have it anymore. The problem is that you stopped using it. You started settling. You started saying things like, maybe this is just how it's supposed to be. Or maybe I'm not meant for more. No, that's a lie. You hear me? That's a lie. But it's one you keep rehearsing every day, and every time you repeat it, it gets stronger. You feed it with your actions. You feed it with your excuses. You feed it with your silence, and now that lie has taken the place of your truth. But I came here to shake you up, to wake you up, because there's a version of you that's crying out not with words, but with frustration. That frustration you feel, that irritation when you see somebody else winning, that's your soul reminding you this ain't it. It's not jealousy, it's proof that something greater is still locked inside of you. You've just been ignoring the call. And let me be real with you, average is easy. It don't take much to be average. Wake up late, do just enough to get by, stay scared, stay small, blame everybody else. That's average. But greatness costs. Greatness requires. Greatness demands you show up even when nobody's clapping. Greatness asks you to stand tall when your knees shaking. It asks you to believe in what you can't see, to grind when you're tired, to love when you've been hurt, to keep going when the road don't make sense. That's greatness, but the truth is, it's already in you. You don't have to go find it. You just gotta remember. That's what this is about, remembering who you really are. You ain't some random body on this planet just here to survive. Nah, you were planted here with precision, with purpose, and every time you downplay your gift, you disrespect the one who gave it to you. You've been playing small because it's safe, because you're scared to fail. You're scared to look crazy. You're scared people gonna talk about you. But hear me, they're gonna talk whether you win or lose. Whether you rise or fall, so you might as well rise. You might as well give 'em something to talk about. You might as well chase what's yours like your life depends on it, because it does. You got a dream. Then go protect it like it's your child. Go fight for it like it's the last thing you got. You think it's too late? No, what's too late is living one more year in a life that ain't yours. What's too late is waking up at 60 and realizing you never became who you were born to be. That's too late, but today, you're still breathing, you still got time, you still got power, so get up. Shake the dust off, stop making peace with average, stop making friends with fear, stop calling defeat your home. You are royalty, you are a warrior, you are chosen, you are gifted, you are necessary, and it's time to start walking like it, talking like it, living like it. Remember who you really are. I don't care what you've been through, that ain't who you are. Some of y'all have let your situation become your identity. You're walking around talking like your setbacks are your name. You're wearing your failures like a badge. Like that's all you'll ever be. You talk like, I'm just a broke kid from the hood. Or I'm just someone who always gets it wrong. Or this is just my life now. No, that's not your life. That's a season. That's a moment. That's a chapter. But you've let that one chapter start narrating your whole book. Let me ask you something real. Who told you that your pain was your name? Who told you that your past was your identity? Because I promise you it wasn't God. He never said you were your struggle. He said you were chosen. He said you were more than a conqueror. He said you were fearfully and wonderfully made. That's who you are. But you've been listening to the wrong voices for so long, you don't even recognize your own anymore. And let me be real, I get it. Life is heavy. Maybe you've been abandoned. Maybe you've been abused. Maybe you failed 100 times, and it's hard to believe anything good can still come from you. But I came to tell you this truth. Your circumstances don't define you, your standards do. You hear me? Your circumstances are just the weather, but your standards, that's your thermostat. That's what sets the temperature. That's what says, I don't care what's going on around me, I know what I demand of myself. See, I've seen people who had everything working against them, poverty, pain, broken families, no support, but they still rose up. Why? Because they refused to let their conditions tell them who they were. They set a standard and they lived by it. You've got to get to the place where you stop blaming what happened to you and start building something with it. I'm not saying ignore the pain, I'm saying grow through it. Don't just go through the fire, get refined in the fire. Come out stronger, come out sharper, come out clearer, but stop acting like the fire was meant to destroy you. It was meant to develop you. The standard has to be higher than the struggle. You've been saying, I can't do it because of what I've been through. No, you've got to do it because of what you've been through. You've got to build something so strong that nobody who ever doubted you can deny what's in you. You've got to be the one that says, yes, I come from brokenness, but brokenness didn't break me, it built me. But listen, that starts with a decision, not a feeling, not a mood, a decision, a standard, and I ain't talking about hype. I'm not talking about motivation that fades after a YouTube video. I'm talking about a shift in your soul. A moment where you say, from this point forward, I will not live beneath who I was created to be. I will not lower my standards to fit in with people who don't know my worth. I will not settle for less when greatness is still available to me. You gotta make a line in the sand and say, no more blaming. No more wishing, no more hoping without working, no more lowering myself because it's easier than rising. You either set the standard or life will set it for you. You think champions feel like it every day. You think leaders don't face hell behind closed doors. You think success means never going through storms. No. Success is setting your standard so high that even when the storm hits, you don't drop. Even when the world says you ain't enough, you say, watch me. You think your circumstances disqualify you, but they actually certify you. That mess you came out of. That chaos you survived, that's your story, that's your strength. That's your anointing, but the enemy wants you to be ashamed of it. He wants you to hide it, because he knows if you ever stop letting your past hold you hostage, you'll be unstoppable. And some of you right now, I feel this, some of you are standing in a gap. You're the first. You're the only one in your family that wants more. You're the only one trying to heal, the only one trying to break generational curses, and I know that weight is heavy. But you were built to carry it. You were chosen to shift it. You don't need perfect conditions. You need unshakable standards. You don't need a silver spoon. You need a made-up mind. You don't need easy. You need excellence. Because the standard is who you really are, not the pressure, not the pain, the standard. And when you remember that, when you lock in and say, I will not settle, everything changes. Your walk changes, your language changes, your results change. Remember who you really are. Let's dive in. No fluff, no filler, just real talk. You didn't come this far to quit now. You didn't fight through all that pain, all those late nights, all those tears, just to give up because things got hard. You didn't survive what you survived to throw it all away because it got uncomfortable. You've come too far to forget your why. You hear me? Some of you have forgotten why you even started. You've been grinding so long with your head down, you don't even remember what made you begin. You've been so focused on the obstacles that you've lost sight of the outcome. You've been so caught up in the pressure, in the fear, in the opinions of other people that you've lost the fire. And I'm telling you right now, go get it back. Go get your why back, because when you lose your why, you lose your way. You started this journey because something in your spirit told you were made for more. You started because you were tired of being average. Tired of watching other people win while you sat on the sidelines, tired of seeing your family struggle, tired of seeing the same cycle play out in every generation, and something deep inside you snapped. Something said, no more. That was your why, but now you're acting like you forgot. You're showing up half-hearted. You're doubting yourself again. You're letting distractions rob you of discipline. You're letting feelings control your future. And I get it, you're tired, but listen to me. Tired don't get to decide. Pain don't get to decide. The why does. When your legs can't run, your why will carry you. When you're surrounded by critics, your why will silence them. When the bank account's empty, when the door gets slammed in your face, when nobody believes, your why will remind you that you're not done yet. You think people wake up every morning hyped to do hard things. You think greatness shows up when it's convenient. Nah, greatness shows up when you do, even when you don't feel like it, even when you feel broken, even when you feel alone. And that's why the why matters, because your feelings will lie to you, your comfort will betray you. But your why will guide you. So let me ask you, who are you doing this for? Because if it's just for you, you won't last. If it's just to flex, just to be famous, just to impress, you won't survive the fire. You need something deeper. You need a reason that'll wake you up at 4 a.m. when nobody's watching. You need a reason that'll make you work while they sleep, grind while they rest, bleed while they chill. Maybe you're doing it for your kids. Maybe you're doing it for your future self. Maybe it's for the version of you that didn't believe in themselves for too long. Maybe it's for the younger you who never saw anyone win. And now you've got to be the one to show it's possible. Whatever it is, hold it tight, write it down, tattoo it on your soul if you have to, but don't you dare forget it. Because the moment you forget your why is the moment you give life permission to beat you. The moment you stop remembering why you started is the moment quitting becomes an option. And when quitting becomes an option, so does regret, so does shame, so does mediocrity, and that ain't who you are. You didn't come this far to live with regret. You didn't climb through hell to stop at halfway. You didn't cry all those nights just to make peace with average. No, you're here because you chose different, because you're called, because there's purpose on your life. And I don't care what comes against you. If you stay locked in on your why, there is nothing that can break you. Let me be real, there will be days where it feels like it's not working. There will be days where it feels like everybody else is winning and you're stuck. But that's not when you quit. That's when you double down. That's when you remind yourself, I'm not doing this for claps. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm doing this because I made a promise to myself, to my family, to God, and I will not break the promise because this thing is bigger than you. Some of you were chosen to break the curse, chosen to shift the narrative, chosen to be the first to graduate, the first to heal, the first to stay, the first to love right, the first to go after it like your life depends on it, because it does. And when life comes at you with everything it's got, pain, betrayal, failure, rejection, your why is what makes you stand when everything else says sit. It's what makes you fight when your strength is gone. It's what makes you keep showing up, keep pushing, keep believing even when you've got every reason to walk away. So go back to the reason you started. Go back to the moment it all made sense. Go back to the version of you that was hungry, desperate, locked in. And remind yourself that person is still inside you. They didn't disappear. They just need you to remember. Because if you can remember your why, you can survive any what. Remember who you really are. The real you is waiting, but you gotta show up. Listen to me. There's a version of you that's bold, focused, unstoppable. That version of you ain't worried about failure. Ain't worried about who's watching, who's hating, who's doubting. That version of you is a beast. That version of you don't flinch in the face of pressure. Don't fold when it gets dark. That version, that's the real you. But here's the truth. You gotta show up to become it. You keep waiting on a breakthrough, waiting on motivation, waiting on a sign. You keep saying, when I feel better, I'll move. When life slows down, I'll focus. When people believe in me, I'll start. No, that's not how this works. The real you doesn't show up when it's convenient. The real you shows up when it's hard. The real you shows up when everything in you says, quit. That's how you unlock it. And I'm telling you right now, it's not about finding yourself. Stop saying that. You're not lost. You're not missing. You're not broken. You've just been distracted. You've just been asleep, and life ain't gonna wait for you to wake up. That clock is ticking, so I need you to get up. I need you to stop looking around and start looking within, because it's already in you. Everything you need, the strength, the courage, the creativity, the discipline, the power, it's already in you. But you've got to stop negotiating with your potential. You keep talking yourself out of what God already said you could do. You keep shrinking because you don't want to offend people who gave up on themselves. You keep hiding because you're scared of the responsibility that comes with greatness. But the real you don't run. The real you doesn't bow to fear. The real you doesn't settle for a watered-down life. The real you was born to lead, born to rise, born to carry weight that breaks other people. But you've been living like you forgot. Like you're okay watching other people live the life that belongs to you. You keep asking, what if it doesn't work? But I came to ask you, what if it does? What if the real you finally shows up? What if you stop second guessing, stop hesitating, stop procrastinating, and you actually stepped into the life that's been waiting on you this whole time? Let me tell you what's real. The real you is not passive. The real you is not soft. The real you does not wait for permission. The real you doesn't chase approval. You chase purpose. You chase growth. You chase legacy. You wake up and make decisions like a person who knows what they're carrying is bigger than them. But you can't keep playing with it. You can't keep tiptoeing between who you are and who you used to be. That middle ground is killing your momentum. You're too awake to go back, but you're too scared to move forward. And I'm telling you, that's the most dangerous place to be, because it looks like you're doing something, but you're really just standing still. So what do? You show up anyway. You show up tired. You show up scared. You show up broken. You show up confused. But you show up. You keep coming back every single day. You put your name on your work. You put your heart into your craft. You put your foot down and say, I'm not living one more day beneath my calling. That's what it takes. The real you can't be microwaved, can't be wished into existence. It's forged, it's built, it's earned. And it's earned in the dark when nobody's clapping, nobody's watching, and you keep grinding anyway. You don't become the real you when the lights come on. You become the real you when you choose to rise even when it's silent. And let me say this, stop waiting for someone to come save you. Nobody's coming, not because they don't care, but because it's not their job. This is your life, your gift, your purpose. You're the one who has to fight for it. You're the one who has to believe when nobody else does. You're the one who has to dig deep and say, I was born for this. I don't need a cosign. I don't need applause. I need obedience. You've been praying for answers, and this is it. You are the answer. You are the one your bloodline has been waiting for. You are the one your younger self needed. You are the one your future depends on. And you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. You just have to show up, because the real you is waiting on the other side of this version of you dying. The weak you, the scared you, the insecure you, let it die. Kill that version off. Make room for the real you to breathe, to speak, to lead, to shine. Remember who you really are.